But now that we have, essentially complete chaos in Yemen, does the White House still believe that Yemen is the model for counterterrorism strategy?
John, the White House does continue to believe that a successful counterterrorism strategy is one that will build up the capacity of the central government to have local fighters on the ground take the fight to extremists in their own country.
All right, welcome to Gimme 5. Folks, yesterday, and I ran this by, I went to the great event for John Kasich, as I mentioned, last night at the Four Seasons, run by John Catsimatidis, and of course the great organization formed by Steve Forbes and Stephen Moore and Larry Kudlow. And I ran this by a lot of people there. I said, you watch Seinfeld? And I said, this administration has become not the Bizarro World, but the George episode of Opposite. So the Yemen policy has failed to the extent that we had to evacuate our special forces. And Josh Earnest, the White House spokesman, continues to defend our Yemen strategy as a success. It's the opposite. That's the opposite. Here we go.
And the United States can serve both to diplomatically offer up some political support to central governments. We can offer very tangible support to local security forces in the form of training and equipping. And we can also support the operations of those security forces through whether it's the deployment of ISR capability or even, in the case of Iraq, military airstrikes.
Okay, but you couldn't do that in Yemen. The question was, does the administration, why do you continue to cite Yemen as a success when Yemen was a miserable failure? And he's not, it's just insane. Here's more.
And that is a template that has succeeded in mitigating the threat that we face from extremists in places like Yemen and Somalia, and is a template that we believe can succeed in mitigating the threat emanating from Syria as well.
It has not been a success in Yemen. It has been a failure in Yemen. We got kicked out of Yemen. And so it's not just me. I take heart when Jonathan Karl then replies by, you're going to hear him say, that's astounding. And I guess that's a good word for it, too. Here it is.
It's astounding. You're saying that you still see Yemen as the model? I mean, the central, building up the central government which has now collapsed, a president who has apparently fled the country. Saudi troops amassing on one border, the Iranians supporting the rebels. You consider this is a model for counterterrorism?
Again, John, what the United States considers to be our strategy when confronting the effort to try to mitigate the threat that is posed by extremists is to prevent them from establishing a safe haven. And certainly in a chaotic, dangerous situation like in Yemen, what the United States will do and has done is worked to try to support the central government, to build up the capacity of local fighters, and use our own technological and military capabilities to apply pressure on the extremists.
I am at a look. Can you tell I'm at a loss for words? I mean, Jonathan Karl sat there and said, this is astounding. You continue to defend Yemen's strategy when Yemen is in chaos and we got kicked out of Yemen over the weekend? And you continue to say it's a template for how we're going to go ahead and fight terrorism? Yes, John, because you see, opposite. Here's more.
There's no doubt that we would like to see a functioning central government in Yemen. We don't see that right now. And that is why we're supportive of the UN-led process to try to put an end to the violence and instability, to bring the sides, all sides together to the table to try to resolve their differences, to build up the capacity of the central government, to build up the capacity of local forces, and to continue to apply pressure to extremists.
Now he's going to say, we still have advantages in Yemen. We still could use Yemen. Watch.
We do continue to enjoy the benefits of a sustained counterterrorism security relationship with the security infrastructure that remains in Yemen.
You think the security infrastructure still remains in Yemen?
That there are elements of the Yemeni government that we continue to be in touch with that continue to further our efforts to apply pressure to extremists that seek to operate in that country.
Help, please.